Goal 1, win the West. Check. Goal 2, best seating possible. Check. What's up, Broncos country? My name is Brandon Gilchrist. Well, 74,801 fans showed up to Mile High to watch your Denver Broncos beat the Los Angeles Chargers and secure the number 1 seed. Goal number 2 is checked off the list, and that only leaves goal number 3, win it all. Your Denver Broncos are 14-3, Broncos country. Sean Payton has never had a 14-win team, and he's done it with the Denver Broncos. 2025, man. What a season, but we're just getting started. All across the NFL, Week 18 just felt kind of weird. There's this mix of playing and not playing starters, fighting for seeding, not fighting for seeding. And when it comes to this game and who was going to play and who wasn't going to play from the Chargers, yes, they rested a couple key starters, but at the same time, they played a very good Chargers defense. Yes, you would have loved to see them play a little bit more complimentary football. Broncos didn't convert on their red zone opportunities, but they put together drives when they needed to, and they got stops when they needed to. And that's what matters. This is absolutely a situation where the Broncos had to go into it preparing like they're getting ready to play in the playoffs. And then once kickoff happens, figure out exactly who's playing, who's not playing, and what the actual strategy for the Chargers is on that day. And I want to believe that when the Broncos went up 10-0 at the very start of this game, Sean Payton did not even attempt to open up his bag. And he saw that the Chargers offense with Trey Lance under center weren't going to be able to do a thing against this Broncos defense. And at that point, it was about maintaining the lead and coasting to the end. The Broncos were fully in control from start to finish. And let's be real, we may see that team again in just a couple short weeks. With the regular season done, I'm really curious how many Broncos fans have accepted the identity of the 2025 Broncos. They win ugly. They win with defense. They win with offense. They win with special teams. They can score high. They love to play with the score close. At the end of the day, their identity is adaptability. When we look at just this game, after the Broncos went up 10-0, it was a bit of a punt fest for the middle of this game with field goals intermixed here and there. The key moments of the game really were that Jaquan McMillan pick 6, the strip sack from Nick Bonito, and I also think the long drive that the Broncos offense put together in the fourth quarter to spell our defense. Speaking of our defense, they were dominant once again. 4 sacks, 2 takeaways, including a pick 6 and a forced fumble, 5 tackles for a loss, 8 quarterback hits, 8 passes defensed. The Chargers went 7 for 20 on third downs. There were a couple other opportunities out there for interceptions from this team. They just couldn't quite get their hands on them. This is why I asked the question that I did at the beginning. This team doesn't lead with their offense. It leads with their defense, which means the offense isn't going to do anything to put the ball in harm's way to put their defense in a bad position. They're not going to take those risks. Why would they when the opposing offense can't do a thing? Is it ugly football? Is it boring at times? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's about getting the win. And I'll take that ugly win all the way to that Lombardi. Speaking of our offense, once again, they put together a long drive at the very beginning of the game, and then they put together a key long drive in the fourth quarter to spell our defense. In both of those instances, they came away with field goals, in addition to another field goal that they got from the strip sack that happened in the fourth quarter by Nick Bonito. You would have loved for them to convert at least 1 or 2 of those into touchdowns, but the Broncos offense went 0 for 3 today in the red zone. This also wasn't a great day for third down conversions for them. Broncos offense went 5 for 15. The Chargers defense really does give quarterbacks and offenses fits. They fly around, they're physical. As I said in the game preview, they cause chaos. There was this little mix of just messiness happening in the middle of this game. It felt like there was one injury after another for a moment there, with Bowles going out at one point, Forsyth going out at another point. You had PJ Locke, who went out but didn't return to the game. They really seemed to get out of rhythm, and I think at that point, it was really about preserving player health, calling a conservative plan, ensuring we had the lead, and then just getting the heck out of there. Looking at Bo Nix's performance, it wasn't his greatest day. going 14 for 23, 141 yards. We did see his legs in this one. For a big chunk of the day, he was the offense on the ground, contributing 49 rush yards. Bo's only long completion in this one was also slightly off. Evan Ingram was able to nab it for a 37-yard completion to move them down the field. I will say his play felt a bit erratic, and I don't know if that was just the intensity of the moment, the intensity of what was at stake. I hope that when we do see them in the divisional round, they've gotten those jitters out, they've gotten those bugs out, because it did feel a bit tight for the team at the start of this one. When we look at the rushing game, once again hitting 100 yards. I had to look at the stat sheet on this one because frankly it didn't feel like they had rushed for 100 yards, but then again, they were getting chunks after chunks after chunks, whether that was with Bo's legs or with Jaleel McLaughlin, who really had a stellar day when it comes to the running backs. He carried the ball 6 times for 41 yards, and with RJ still getting the majority of the carries, but not the level of production that Jaleel McLaughlin had, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on if this order stays the same, or if they let Jaleel take the lead and RJ move more into the complementary role he had before J.K. Dobbins went out when we get to the divisional round. In terms of special teams, Will Lutz was money as usual, going 4 for 4 and an extra point. It was nice to see Marvin Mims break a solid punt return for 33 yards. That's something we were looking for in this one and want him to carry that into the playoffs. Crawshaw had an okay day, only downed 1 punt inside the 20. His hang time was a little off on this one, but that's okay. The Broncos didn't need him to be perfect. When we talk about build the Bronco and bring the Thunder, there are 2 things I'm thinking about. Number 1 is our red zone offense. It's hard to measure the effectiveness of our offense right now because the last couple weeks, we've been playing backup quarterbacks. Frankly, I don't think Sean's in his bag at all. And with that, that's led to the Broncos having to settle for field goals more often. We need the offense to convert in the red zone. And they've been effective at that all year. It's only over these last few weeks where it seems to have gone in a shell. I want to believe this is because of the conservative play calling and game planning. But it is something we're going to be keeping our eyes on. The Broncos have an extra week to heal up and for players to get treatment. We obviously won't get official statuses until game week, but with Bulls going out with an ankle injury and coming back into the game, with Alex Forsyth going out and coming back into the game with an ankle injury, and then PJ Locke going out and not returning, that is something we're going to be keeping our eyes on. In terms of Bring the Thunder, the rushing defense was stellar. They couldn't get anything going on the ground, and it's been that way the last few weeks. That's going to be huge for the Broncos when it comes to getting an advantage against the teams that they'll be facing in the playoffs. We need our defense to maintain that level of intensity around stopping the run. In terms of the weekly salute, there's a few I want to give out on this one, starting with our defense, particularly Jaquan McMillan for a stellar day. The defense was responsible for the only touchdown of the entire day. Jaquan McMillan with a pick 6, additionally added 6 tackles and 2 passes defensed to the day. Jaquan McMillan, you had yourself a day, sir. Additionally, great to see Nick Bonito back in the sack column. He was in place to get at least 3 sacks. Ended up walking away with 1.5, including a strip sack and a tackle for a loss. We're going to need Nick Bonito to show up just like he did on Sunday come playoff time. Salute to Nick Bonito and his performance on Sunday. This Broncos defense seems to be finding its stride heading into the playoffs. Another salute I want to give out is to Jaleel McLaughlin. He was great in the run game. Again, maximizing his opportunities. 6 carries for 41 yards. He also had a reception for 17 yards. He was very effective in the run game, and salute to Jaleel McLaughlin for his efforts. I will be very curious to see if he doesn't take the lead here come the divisional round. Finally, I want to give a salute to the other MVP here for this game, and that's Will Lutz. Because the Broncos couldn't convert touchdowns in the red zone, that meant we had to rely on Will Lutz to at least help us walk away with 3. And he answered the bell each and every time, going 4 for 4, and the extra point after the pick 6. Salute to Will Lutz, and once again, being clutch for this Broncos team. We're going to need you. Now, because the Broncos have earned the first round bye, Sean Payton, he's given the Broncos players off until Friday and Saturday of this week. Then they'll be off on Sunday, and by Monday they'll be back in the building where they will hopefully know who their opponent is for the divisional round. Players have already started to voice their focus on getting treatment and resting. Some players have also talked about getting together for practice and film review. Make no mistake, even though they don't have a game, this is a work week, and these Broncos have the right mindset, knowing the playoffs are here, and they need to do everything they can to put in that extra work to get the Broncos to where they want to go. This was a solid close to the 2025 season. Playoff bracket is wide open. I would argue the Broncos have won in every possible way this year. Believe it or not, they remain under the radar as the 1 seed, which is wild. It's been a great regular season, but now it's playoff time. Are you excited about the Broncos being the first seed for the first time in 10 years? I know I am. Which game are you looking forward to watching on Wild Card Weekend? For me, I'm kind of curious about the Bills versus the Jags and how that game's gonna go. Let me know in the comments. As always, be kind. Talk to you soon, Broncos country.